Hey guys, Whitney here and welcome to TEFLPros. On today's call, I sat down with one of our graduates named Katie. And now Katie called in today from beautiful northern Spain, where she is happily teaching English in both a high school and a local language school. So if Spain has been on your wish list for quite some time, then sit back, relax, and enjoy hearing about Katie's experience on her TEFLPros course and then transitioning into teaching in Spain. Hey, Katie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing great.
Yeah. So where are you calling in from today?
I am in Logroño. It's in the La Rioja region of northern Spain. It's the wine capital of Spain.
Oh, okay. Rough life.
I know, right?
Well, thanks for agreeing to hop on this call today and just share a bit about your experience. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Yeah. So now Katie, obviously she's already in Spain, guys. So, she finished the course a little ways back and has already been teaching for a while. So, if you could, Katie, can you just kind of think back in the past? I know now we've had COVID and all this craziness, but where were you kind of at in life, like prior to taking the course? Yeah.
So, well, it was 2020 in about spring or summer of 2020. So I was where all of you guys were, figuring out what I was going to do with my future and the rest of my life. And I was going through, in the midst of COVID, another life change. So it was an opportunity to really change directions in life. And I had always had this dream of living in another country and learning a second language. And after talking to some people, I realized that my best option was going to be to learn how to teach English in a foreign country, because that's one thing that they will hire Americans to do all over the world. And it also seemed like a very fulfilling job. I'd had a lot of friends who had done it. Plus, I also obviously love languages. And so I thought, maybe I should give this a go. But also, I'm a person who likes to be prepared to do things. And so I didn't just want to fly by the seat of my pants. I wanted to feel prepared going in.
Yeah. And I feel like, Katie, you have kind of a unique perspective as well, because you have a parent that was an expat too.
Yes, yes, I do. My mom was a missionary to Haiti, the island of Haiti, and she went not knowing any Creole, but at least she did know, she was a nurse, so she knew what she was doing in that respect. And so, if you can reduce the anxiety of at least one point of moving to another country, do it, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It really does take some stress away. If you've maybe, whatever the case may be, you've already done some traveling or you already learned a language or a skill that you can apply towards a job. Yeah,
yes,
absolutely. So you kind of honed in on TEFL as an option. And I know that you're a researcher. So, what were you kind of looking for in your TEFL course?
Well, first and foremost, I'm also, not fresh out of college or anything. I've been in the workforce for a while. So I wanted something for working professionals, especially because I knew that I was going to continue to work while I was doing my course. So even though the idea of traveling somewhere to take a course is enticing, I wanted to still be able to make money while I was doing it. So something online seemed preferable. And I also, as a researcher, I can figure out a lot of things by myself. I love to teach myself to do things. So I also wanted a course that wasn't something I could just Google or watch YouTube videos about. Because obviously first I did watch a bunch of YouTube videos and read some books and blogs. And what I discovered was I'm not going to be able to learn to teach by myself. That will take me years. I need somebody who already knows what they're doing to tell me what to do. And I wanted something that would be worth the money. So something that was flexible enough to where I could do it on my own time, but rigorous enough to where I was actually learning something and didn't include a lot of stupid busy work, for lack of a better term. I wanted, to to feel ready, but also like with the tools that I would need, but also with the ability to continue self-development after.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I love how you put that. I remember you sharing that with me like in the past. Like I didn't want something that I could just Google and find out on my own,
Yes.
which I think is really tempting in today's world because all you have to do is like type in a couple things and you'll find all these, teacher worksheets and
Mhm.
workbooks or activity books, all sorts of stuff
Yes.
where it might be easy to think like, oh, I'll just buy a few of these, put that
It does
together.
not work that way. Yes. But also as someone who loves learning, and I've had not the best teachers in my life, I know how important it is to be a good teacher and to make that look effortless. And the one thing I know about people who do something effortlessly is they actually have a lot, they're doing a lot in their mind. And how to get to that point is it was just baffling trying to figure out how to teach myself to do that. I knew I couldn't do it by myself. It didn't take very much searching to realize I couldn't do it by myself.
So then you kind of take that leap, you start your TEFL course. And what was that experience like given, what you were looking for and, things that we've just been chatting about, like, so you start learning lesson planning and all these things. What was that like for
Yes.
you?
It was really fun because
Okay.
I do love learning and I was getting exactly what I wanted. I felt like the information was it was perfect. It was things that I didn't find in the little bit that I was, looking on the site, but it included all the modalities. So things I could read, things I could watch, things I could listen to. I liked the way that certain themes were repeated. How there were little things that I would never think about, like arranging classrooms or discipline problems, which is something I worried about, how to address those kind of issues with all age groups. Oh gosh, I don't know, it was interesting and fun. And I refer back to my notes a lot. I was thinking about it. There have been a couple of times in my current job where I came up with some idea for a lesson and I just started doing it. And then after hours, I realized by the time I got it into the structure I wanted, it's one of the structures I learned in the class. I'm like, oh, if I had just started from the beginning like I was supposed to, this wouldn't have taken so long.
Have you found at the school that you're working with that do they give you a textbook that they want you to work with?
Not exactly. I mean, there are textbooks and I do have
Yeah.
copies of them, so I know what the students are learning, but my job is more to be a native speaker so that they can listen to my accent, but then it's also my job to get them to talk. And so the activities that I come up with are supposed to be centered around listening and speaking.
Okay.
So sometimes, and so figuring out how to integrate the grammar points that they're learning with something that they can do speaking and that is interactive. And then I work with ages 11 to people who are retiring. Yes. So it's just a variety of themes and things to keep their attention. It's a lot.
It's a lot. Do you have mixed ages in your classes or is it like segmented?
I work at a high school and then an official language school. And so in the high school, they're
Segmented.
But then in the language school, it's based on level. And so the ages vary a lot more there, even though they're all adults. Adult is like 18 to,
80.
whoever. Yes, 18 to 80. That's a good number. Yeah.
I always thought that was kind of fun though. Like I found it like kind of weird at first because we don't have a lot of that in the US, like where you see those mixed age group lessons. But I don't know. I always found like it kind of kept people in line because
it does.
And now, Katie, I know that you went through the government sponsored program in Spain. So is there anything, now that you've got some months under the belt, like anything there that you would like to share? I know it's a very coveted program. We speak to folks every single week that are like, I want to go on the program in Spain. And yes. I email Katie quite a bit, like, hey, is there some tip you would, offer this person? But is there anything that you'd like to share about it?
Sure. I would say, as cliche as it sounds, and as much as I wanted to believe it, but didn't when I was looking for things I wanted to do it. It's the best decision you'll ever make. You won't regret it. All those things. Like I'm, s- it is one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life to, well, first of all, do this program, and then to do the TEFL certification and then do the auxiliar program. Because I can say some of the other auxiliaries in the program who never took a TEFL certification course do seem like they're a little more lost and stressed, because it is something to suddenly be dropped into a high school or an elementary school where you've never taught before and being asked to complete these tasks. And if you have no idea what to do, I can't imagine how overwhelming it is. But since I kind of knew what I was doing, or at least had the tools to get started, it's been an amazing experience.
Oh, that's great.
I love every second of it. I mean, and it's not necessarily that I expect to be a teacher for the rest of my life, but the cultural immersion and just getting to share my language with others and have them share their language with me is just extremely rewarding. Living in Spain is incredible. It's incredible, to say the least.
You mentioned one thing, I'm taking us a little off topic here, but you said I might not like be a teacher for the rest of my life. And I get this question a lot. So I'm just gonna put you on the spot and ask.
Sure.
I get people asking, so is it worth it to like get TEFL certified, move to another country, do all of this work if I only do it for, let's say, 1 or 2 years? Like, am I actually bettering myself? Am I really learning things that could apply to the rest of my life? And I'm like, yes, but it's hard to like put it into words. So I'm going to ask you, like, what would you say?
I have 2 thoughts on that. First of all, I felt like when I was looking for my TEFL course, there are 3 tiers of courses you can take. There are the ones that are super cheap and they basically just give you a book of activities. And those are pointless because you're not going to learn how to do anything. You can print those activities for free on the internet. It's pointless. And then on the reverse end are the certificate programs that are really expensive, really intensive, and take a lot of time. And I don't know why you would do that. You could just get a master's in education. But also, why would you do that if you don't even know if you want to teach forever? And so I felt like this program was perfect because it gave me everything I needed to get the kind of position that I need to understand what the role is and how well I would do and how I would see myself doing this in the future. And then if I decide to go on with more education, I can get an actual master's in teaching, and maybe not in English, depending on what I wanted to teach. But then the second half of that answer is I have worked in data and research, and I've done some trainings, but never actually taught anything. And I also feel like a part of what I would want to do in the future involves consulting, which is about communication and communicating ideas clearly and being able to train people in whatever service I'm offering. I'm getting so much training in that right now about how people learn and understand things, how to deal with different levels of bureaucracy. Meeting new people constantly is not something I've ever done in my life before. So I'm doing that all the time, which is useful. And then just, I don't know, teaching, I never realized how much work it was. I wish I could write all the teachers I've ever had in my life and thank them for all the time they spent on us. But yeah, all these skills that I didn't realize I would learn about evaluation and about interpersonal skills, growth and development, psychology. I mean,
it's a long list.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Mm-hmm. And
very
I feel
much
like,
worth it.
For us, we're the same age, guys. So it's like for us, like we might have a different perspective than hey, if you're coming straight out of college, like
sure.
You might not have been in the workforce yet, but I mean, I can say for myself, like I did not know how to talk to people coming out of college and how to communicate. And so being thrown into a classroom and teaching, 6 hours a day, that was like, what do they call it? Like kind of a bath of fire,
yes.
approach. And so I'm glad I did it, because if I had gone into like a corporate job, I would be in my 30s still, like, I don't know how to talk to people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's so great. I'm so happy for you that you're just having an awesome experience in Spain.
Yeah, thanks. Oh, and also just being in this kind of environment, I've met people from all over the world, including all over the United States, with all kinds of different experiences. And we're kind of a tight knit group. And I feel like if I wanted to, there are those opportunities to go back to as well. Like there will be someone who says, oh, well, I work for such and such company in this city. If you ever wanted to go, I would put in a good word for you. So it's also a networking opportunity that you might not have otherwise.
That is so true. And over time you meet people from, you know, so many different places that you start to realize, wow, if I like ever wanted to take a trip to like anywhere in the world, I might have a friend, like a built-in travel guide.
Exactly.
To kind of recommend things or hang out with. So that's like an added bonus.
It is. It really is.
Oh, all right, Katie, is there anything else, any like final thoughts or advice that you would give to folks if they're considering either doing their TEFL, going to Spain? Any final words of wisdom?
Do both. And if you are wanting to go to Spain and you live in a place like the United States, start learning Spanish. It's going to help you so much. It's worth it. And it's easy to find ways to learn Spanish in the States. So yeah, just do that. And join the Facebook groups and Reddit groups for wherever you would like to go teach. They're a wealth of information and the people in them are always very kind and very supportive. And just try to stay organized as you're making plans, because the worst part is the paperwork, but you can do it. I mean, it is doable. Even if you make a mistake, you can still do it. You can figure it out.
Good advice, wise advice from Katie. Thank you so much for hopping on and doing this call.
Anytime.